In this life, storms are not always outside. Many of them live quietly inside of us. In our thoughts, our worries, and our restless emotions. We run faster, work harder, and chase more, thinking that peace is something to be reached out there, far away. But have you ever noticed? The harder you chase, the further it seems to drift. Imagine a lake. When the wind is strong, the surface is broken, the reflection is distorted. But when the wind settles, the water becomes still. And suddenly, you can see clearly. Your calm works the same way. It is not something you need to create, but something you allow to surface when you stop stirring the waters. Calmness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of awareness. It is learning to stand still in the middle of motion, to breathe deeply when the world shouts loudly, and to anchor yourself so the waves may pass without taking you with them. Today, I invite you to step away from the noise. Not by leaving the world, but by returning to yourself. Because when you find your calm, you don't just survive the storm, you begin to guide your own ship through it. The search for calm often begins with the misconception that it is something to be built from scratch or found somewhere beyond our daily reality. Yet, calm is not a construction project. It is an uncovering. It is already present, like the sun on a cloudy day. The clouds may cover it, but they do not remove it. In the same way, your inner calm is hidden beneath layers of stress, noise, and distraction, waiting for you to step back and allow it to reappear. Most of us live in a constant state of tension without even realizing it. Shoulders are tight, jaws clenched, thoughts racing like a river after heavy rain. This becomes so normal that we forget what it feels like to be still. The truth is, calm is not about controlling every situation. It is about mastering your response. You cannot stop the rain from falling, but you can learn to keep your footing so you do not get washed away. This is why the journey to find your calm starts not with changing the outside world, but by changing the way you move through it. When you observe nature, you will notice that it never forces itself. The river flows because gravity pulls it forward. The tree grows toward the light without questioning how or why. Even the ocean waves rise and fall in a rhythm they have followed for millions of years. There is no struggle in these movements, yet they are powerful. Calmness works in the same way. It is not a state of weakness or passivity. It is a state of harmony with the natural flow of life. Many confuse calm with doing nothing, but calm is active in its own way. It is the deliberate choice to center yourself rather than react impulsively. It is the steady breath before speaking, the pause before making a decision, the awareness that lets you see clearly instead of rushing blindly. To uncover this calm, you must first become aware of the noise you carry. This noise is not only the sound of your environment, but the internal chatter of your mind. Thoughts constantly pull you into the past or push you into the future, rarely letting you rest in the present. These thoughts are like waves hitting the shore, relentless, sometimes small, sometimes large enough to knock you over. You cannot force the ocean to stop moving, but you can learn how to stand so the waves pass without knocking you down. This is where the practice of awareness becomes essential. By simply noticing the thoughts without getting pulled into them, you create space between yourself and your reactions. This space is where calm lives. Breath is the most direct path to finding that space. The breath is always with you, but often it is shallow and rushed, reflecting the pace of your life. By slowing the breath, you slow the mind. Each inhale becomes a reminder that you are alive. Each exhale, a release of the tension you no longer need to hold. You do not need to escape to the mountains or sit in silence for hours to feel this. You can do it right where you are, in the middle of your daily chaos. Even a few deep, deliberate breaths can shift you from reaction to presence. Over time, this becomes a skill that you can carry anywhere. Stillness is another key to uncovering calm, but stillness does not always mean physical immobility. You can be still while walking, while speaking, even while working. Stillness in this sense is about maintaining a quiet mind in the midst of activity. Think of a candle in a room. People may walk past, doors may open and close, but the flame remains steady because it is shielded from the wind. This shield is your awareness, your grounded presence. Life will always bring movement around you, but you can protect your inner flame from being blown out. As you move through life, situations will continue to arise that challenge your sense of peace. Someone may speak harshly to you. Plans may fall apart. Unexpected problems will appear. In these moments, your instinct may be to fight, to resist, to demand control. But calm asks you to do something different. It asks you to soften. Softness is not surrender. It is the strength of water that shapes stone over centuries without force. It is the ability to bend so you do not break. The more you practice this, the more you realize that calm is not something you find once and keep forever. It is something you return to again and again, like coming back to the breath. Every day, life will give you chances to choose agitation or to choose calm. The more you choose calm, the more it becomes your natural state. Over time, even the storms that once seemed unbearable lose their power to shake you because you have built a home within yourself where stillness lives. When people think about finding their calm, they often picture an ideal environment. A quiet forest, a serene beach, a comfortable space away from all demands. While such places can help, true calm is not dependent on location. If your peace can only exist in perfect conditions, then it is fragile, easily broken by the first sign of disturbance. The kind of calm that endures must be carried within you, unaffected by the noise or chaos of your surroundings. This is why the second step in the journey is to train yourself to remain centered, even when everything around you is in motion. It is like learning to stand on a boat while the waves rise and fall. The boat may move, but you adjust your balance so you are not thrown off. One of the reasons calm is so difficult to maintain is because the mind is trained to react immediately. We are conditioned to respond to every sound, every message, every thought, almost without awareness. This constant reaction keeps us in a state of alertness, as if we are always bracing for impact. In this state, even small disturbances can feel overwhelming. The key to breaking this habit is to create pauses in your life. A pause is not an absence of action, it is a conscious choice to let the moment breathe before you step into it. It might be a few seconds before answering a question, a few moments before making a decision, or a slow breath before speaking when emotions run high. These pauses act like spaces between musical notes. Without them, the song would be noise. With them, it becomes something meaningful. Training this skill begins with observation. Notice the situations where you lose your calm most easily. Is it when someone criticizes you? When plans change unexpectedly? When you feel you are not in control? By recognizing these triggers, you give yourself a chance to prepare. Preparation in this sense does not mean avoiding the trigger, but developing the ability to face it without losing balance. Imagine a martial artist standing in a defensive stance. They do not wait to be struck before adjusting. They are already grounded, ready to respond. Your awareness acts as your stance. It keeps you steady before the storm even arrives. One practical way to strengthen this inner steadiness is through grounding exercises. These can be as simple as feeling your feet on the floor, noticing the weight of your body in a chair, or paying attention to the sensation of your hands resting on your lap. Such awareness pulls you out of the endless loop of thoughts and brings you back to the physical reality of the present moment. When your mind is racing ahead into the future or sinking into the past, grounding yourself in the here and now can be a lifeline. It reminds you that no matter what your thoughts are projecting, you are still here, breathing, capable of choosing your next action. Another powerful tool is reframing. When something unexpected or unpleasant happens, the first reaction is often resistance. We label the situation as bad, unfair, or threatening. This judgment fuels agitation. But if you can learn to see events as neutral until you decide how to interpret them, you remove their immediate power to disturb you. A sudden change in plans may be an inconvenience, but it might also be an opportunity. A criticism may sting, but it might also reveal something you can improve. By reframing situations, you shift from feeling like a victim of circumstances to becoming an active participant in how you experience them. Emotional awareness is equally important. Many people mistake calm for emotional suppression, but ignoring or burying emotions does not lead to peace. It leads to pressure building beneath the surface. True calm allows emotions to arise without letting them dictate your behavior. It is like watching clouds drift across the sky. They pass through without you needing to hold on to them or push them away. When anger appears, you acknowledge it. When fear shows up, you notice it. By observing rather than identifying with emotions, you prevent them from controlling your actions. This process is not about perfection. There will be times when your calm slips, when you react before thinking, when you feel shaken by events. But each moment of awareness, each time you pause instead of rushing, each time you reframe instead of resisting, you strengthen your ability to return to center. Over time, the space between disturbance and your reaction grows wider. In that space, calm becomes your natural choice, rather than something you have to struggle for. You realize that the calm you seek is not a fragile bubble that bursts at the slightest touch. It is a steady flame that continues to burn, even when the winds rise. Many people search for calm by focusing only on the mind, forgetting that the body plays an equally important role. The mind and body are deeply connected, constantly influencing each other. A restless mind can create tension in the body, and a tense body can feed restlessness back into the mind. This is why, if you want to find lasting calm, you must work with both. When the body is relaxed, the mind finds it easier to settle. When the breath flows smoothly, thoughts tend to slow down. Ignoring this connection is like trying to quiet a noisy river while ignoring the waterfall that keeps feeding it. The body often holds stress long after the mind has moved on. Shoulders stay raised, the jaw remains tight, the stomach clenches without you noticing. These physical habits form over years of reacting to life's pressures. The problem is, because they become so familiar, you stop realizing they are there. This is where awareness comes in. Start by scanning your body, paying attention to areas that feel tight or heavy. You do not need to force them to relax. Simply noticing them is the first step. The body responds to attention. The moment you bring awareness to a tense area, you give it permission to soften. Breath is the bridge between mind and body. Unlike the beating of your heart or the flow of your blood, breathing is both automatic and under your control. This makes it a powerful tool. When stress rises, the breath becomes shallow and fast, signaling to the body that there is danger. But when you slow your breath intentionally, you send the opposite message, that it is safe to relax. A simple method is to breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale slowly for a count of 6, and pause before the next inhale. This pattern not only calms the nervous system, but also brings the mind back to the present moment. Movement is another important factor. Calm is not always found in stillness. Sometimes it comes from moving in a way that releases stored tension. Walking, stretching, or practicing mindful movement like Tai Chi or yoga can help free the body from the grip of stress. The goal is not to push yourself to exhaustion, but to move with awareness, noticing each step, each stretch, each shift in balance. When you connect with your body in this way, you anchor yourself in the present and create space for calm to emerge naturally. Your environment can also influence the body-mind connection. While you cannot control every space you enter, you can create small moments of peace in the spaces you inhabit most often. It might be a clean, uncluttered corner where you sit quietly, a window where you can watch the sky, or simply a chair where you practice breathing each day. These small adjustments act as signals to your body, reminding it that this is a space where it can release tension. Over time, your body begins to associate these places with calm, making it easier to return to that state even in moments of stress. The food you eat, the rest you give yourself, and the way you treat your physical health all contribute to your ability to stay calm. A tired, overworked body is like a shaky foundation. Even the smallest disturbance can make it collapse. Caring for the body is not a luxury. It is the base upon which inner peace is built. By nourishing it, moving it, and giving it proper rest, you create the conditions where the mind can remain steady. The body becomes not an obstacle to calm, but a partner in sustaining it. Calm is not only something you cultivate for yourself, it is something that naturally begins to extend outward, affecting the way you interact with the world. When you are calm, your words carry a different weight. Your actions have a different tone, and your presence changes the atmosphere around you. This is why cultivating calm is not selfish. It is a contribution. The energy you carry influences everyone you meet. Just as one anxious person can cause tension to spread through a room, one grounded person can bring an unspoken sense of ease. Your calm becomes a silent teacher, showing others that peace is possible even in challenging moments. The way you respond to conflict is one of the clearest reflections of your inner state. When tension rises between people, the natural instinct is to match the energy of the situation. To raise your voice when voices are raised, to defend quickly when attacked, to push harder when pushed. But calm offers a different path. Instead of being drawn into the spiral of reaction, you create a pause, a space where understanding can grow. This does not mean you remain passive or silent in the face of wrongs. It means you choose your words and actions from a place of clarity rather than from the heat of emotion. In this way, calm is not a retreat, it is a form of leadership. In moments of uncertainty, people often look for someone who is steady. They are drawn to those who can remain balanced when others are losing their footing. This is why leaders who embody calm tend to inspire trust. Not because they have all the answers, but because they project stability. Even when the path ahead is unclear, their demeanor communicates that panic is not necessary. You can develop this quality in your own life by practicing it in small moments. When plans fall apart, when a conversation becomes heated, when someone around you is overwhelmed, take a deep breath and choose to be the steady one. Over time, this becomes a natural extension of who you are. Calm also strengthens your ability to listen. Most people listen only to respond, their minds already forming answers before the other person has finished speaking. But when you are calm, you are not rushing ahead. You can be fully present with the person in front of you. This kind of listening has power. It makes others feel seen and understood, which often softens conflicts and builds stronger connections. In this way, your calm becomes a bridge, creating space where honest dialogue can happen. Another way your calm radiates outward is through the example it sets. You may not always realize how closely others are observing you. Colleagues, family members, friends, even strangers. When they see you meeting challenges without being consumed by them, it plants a seed. It shows that there is another way to live, one that is not dictated entirely by external events. You do not have to preach this lesson. Your actions speak for you. The quiet strength you display in your everyday choices can influence more people than you might ever know. This outward effect of calm is not limited to human interactions. It shapes the way you move through all situations, from dealing with unexpected changes to navigating daily routines. You start to notice beauty in places you once overlooked. You appreciate the small details, the fleeting moments that often get lost in the rush of life. In doing so, you naturally slow the pace of your days, not by withdrawing from life, but by engaging with it more consciously. This creates a ripple effect. Your pace influences the pace of those around you. The more you carry calm into the world, the more it becomes part of the collective atmosphere, like a gentle current that others can feel without needing to name it. Calm is not something you chase, it is something you return to. It has been with you since the beginning, before the noise of the world began to pull you in every direction. The journey is not about escaping life, but about walking through it with a steady heart and a clear mind. You learn to quiet the storms within, to balance in the middle of uncertainty, to care for the body so the mind can rest, and to let your presence bring peace to others. Each breath, each pause, each moment of awareness becomes a step back home to yourself. And when you stand in that place, you see that calm was never lost. It was simply waiting for you to notice it again.